If you're a mid-2000s kid growing up as cable television, you might have stumbled upon this gem of a show, 2009's Iron Man Armored Adventures. Now, I grew up watching this, and man was it absolutely gold watching it. It's a spin on Iron Man's classic story where instead of him being a rich alcoholic, he's just a rich teenager. Not an alcoholic, mind you, but I'm sure a story arc about a kid beating his vodka struggles would be just as interesting as him beating the Mandarin. Now, I try to keep spoilers to a minimum, so if you haven't seen it already, I hope this video convinces you to check it out, because it is a pretty fun show to watch. Now, I'm not sure if the animation holds up to the test of time, it being over 15 years old, and the animation is sure a bit dated. It's not bad, per se, but it's not too much to write home about, and it can be sometimes a bit unsettling. Yeah, a bit of that uncanny valley there every now and then. And I have been rewatching the show for this video, and I have been enjoying it, but there's something throwing me off the whole time. The writing is fine, the animation's fine, and the story is good, I do enjoy it. I think the show just felt better when I was a kid. Maybe I'm getting a case of unk status, but this show just doesn't feel the same. I still have fun watching it, but it definitely has its flaws. And maybe that's just because I'm growing up, and it probably is that case. It's just not as fun as I remember it being, but I still like it, and the characters in it are really amazing. It's like the best part of the show. So I wasn't expecting a show about Iron Man in high school to be all too compelling since he's a genius. He can literally blitz through it, and they really play up his genius mind in it too. Like he corrects his own physics professor about lasers and crap like that, but they managed to make it work. With Tony's father's passing in a plane crash that Tony suspects was the work of Obadiah Stane, one of the main villains of the show, he moves in with his best friend Rhodey and his family, which makes for an interesting dynamic as the two are always in fear of Rhodey's mom, a really intelligent lawyer who worked with his father, figuring out his identity as Iron Man. And the show really shines with its characters, as one of my favorites is Pepper Potts, who's this overly excited girl who befriends Tony and Rhodey, and eventually joins them in their armored adventures. Her character is really interesting to me because she's characterized way differently than she is in the movies. Instead of her being a secretary here, which, I know their relationship grows in the movies, but the dynamic is different because of this. It's instead she's more of an equal friendship with him, as she's pretty stubborn and wants to help Tony, and eventually they do team up, and there's this whole love arc going on, and they do end up together. I was rooting for them because it is a bit of a slow burn, and I thought it was sweet. Like as a kid, I rooted for them, and I still do because I think it's nice. And yeah, Rhodey's cool too, I guess. I mean, he eventually becomes War Machine, which was awesome to see, since it's such a sick design and all. But other than that, I'm sorry, mate, there's not too much to say. And Heavy Hogan's a complete idiot here. The show doesn't only focus on Tony, but it fleshes out the other characters too, like Gene Khan, otherwise known as the Mandarin. He's a fellow high schooler who befriends Tony as a way to get to the Markelon rings, this show's former MacGuffin. So his character being a two-faced villain who slowly befriends him is a damn good dynamic that I really enjoyed. He actually joins the gang in the search for the rings in order to become all-powerful, or whatever he wants as the Mandarin. Probably a loving father considering he threw his evil stepdad in jail. So, the whole time, Team Iron Man is trying to beat the Mandarin to the rings, who turns out to be their friend Gene. Real Death Note level writing over here. Real Kira versus Al situation. Of course, there are twists and turns with his character, and the relationship he builds within the show, but those are better left off unspoiled, as some moments can really get to you. But the fact that arguably the main villain is also a teenager makes his character far more interesting than just I want power and I'm evil and I'm Obadiah Stane and I'm rich and I want money. He's an interesting and compelling character, even if he can be a bit of a brat sometimes. Speaking of video segues, the suits in the show are so goddamn badass. Oh, fashion line should be designed off of it, cause God, I want to see these sexy suits strut down a walkway like they own the place, cause that much attitude is deserved. You got beauties like the Hulkbuster and his immaculate self-suit amongst a few others. One of the most notable being Rescue, which was definitely a fun addition. These suits are just more than proof of the love and care that was put into the show. I originally had this video scripted for a YouTube short, but I realized I had a lot more I wanted to say about it as I kept writing. This show has stuck with me for years, and it truly is something special and dear to me, that few shows dare to replicate. So I truly mean it when I say, you, the viewer, should watch Iron Man Armored Adventures. You won't regret it. I know I didn't. Well, thanks for sticking it to the end. Bit of a shorter video here, but if you've made it this far, you should really consider liking and subscribing. It does mean a lot to me considering I am you, and I do hope to make more content soon, and I hope this isn't just me being lazy and making a last one. But anyway, thanks for being here, and consider supporting me. See ya.